For something a bit different and wacky, here's Brett's exotic interpretation of a chocolate brownie.
So what we're going to do is a modern chocolate dessert. It's a fantastic dessert to have around with the family. It sounds a lot harder than it actually is. Basically, all it is a white chocolate mousse on top of a chocolate brownie, and then we finish it off with a fantastic technique of melted chocolate spray painted over it. For my white chocolate mousse, all we need to do is to make a really thick custard, and with that thick custard, we're just going to use some milk, some sugar, some flour, some vanilla, chocolate, and some egg yolks and egg whites. Just add the milk to my pan to get it nice and hot. And into that, I'm just going to add a little bit of vanilla. You won't need too much. So when you use this paste, just half a teaspoon to a third of a teaspoon will be enough. Over here, I've got 120 grams of caster sugar, 50 grams of flour, and 10 grams of corn flour. Might as well just stick everything together and then just crack in the eggs. All the eggs, just the whole egg white, the whole egg yolk, just slap straight into it. Just get a little whisk, just to obviously beat in the flour, your sugar, your eggs and your corn flour. Just make a nice little paste out of it. Hopefully you won't end up with too many lumps. And you just slowly add a little bit of milk in at a time. You want to add it all at the same time because you still have egg in there and the egg could curdle, like scrambled egg really, and you don't want that. So it's like just add little bit by little bit, constantly feeding it, raising the temperature nicely. I'm just going to return that all into the pan now. Just cook it until it goes nice and thick, making sure that all the edges are nice and clear. And I'm just going to put my thick confectioner's custard into the sieve. And then just help that through. This just makes sure that there's no bits in there. It's all going to be nice and smooth. So I've got 100 grams of hot creme pat or thick custard. And into that, I'm going to add 200 grams of white chocolate. That white chocolate should melt quite nicely, nice and evenly, with the residual heat of that custard. And then what we're going to do is just whip up some double cream. With this double cream, all we're going to do is to whip it up to a nice ribbon consistency again, so it resembles yogurt. So now that that's all nicely whipped, we're going to add a lovely melted white chocolate and creme pat into the mix. Just one quick movement, just slowly fold that in. All we're going to do is to basically take these molds. You can get different molds that are available, different shapes, different sizes. I like this one because of all the little bubbles. It makes it look slightly cool. And spoon in your white chocolate mousse mix. Just a few spoons, and then just beat it down to get the air bubbles out. Now that that's all nice and level, I'm just going to stick it into the freezer. Got one that I made earlier. Stuck it into the freezer for about 6 hours, just so that it sets up quite nicely. What we're going to do is we're going to stick it on top of a chocolate brownie. This is one, again, that I made earlier, and hopefully you've made chocolate brownie in the past. What we'll do is take a cooled, pre-prepared chocolate brownie mix and just evenly distribute our mousse and just tweeze it, or squeeze it out of our chocolate mold. Then just grab a knife. The idea is to cut nice and neat so that the chocolate brownie and the white chocolate mousse are the same. What I'm going to do now is just spray some of this velvet spray. Inside this is just a little bit of cocoa butter with some chocolate inside. They come in different sort of colors and flavors, and I'm just using a good old chocolate one. fantastic. Turning into a real-life Picasso. It's my white chocolate mousse on top of a chocolate brownie, spray painted with milk chocolate. I hope you enjoy it.
Who'd think that an ordinary chocolate brownie is lurking under those bubbles? It's a sculptural masterpiece.
Yeah, look at that. Me bike needs a bit of a respray. Come to think of it, at least I'd be able to lick it.
Have a really Merry Christmas.